She lay in the bed, crying her electric tears, whilst I sat in my lab thinking over what I had done, the achievement that was my undoing, an experiment too far, a chance for happiness gone sour. I had come home, her arms were ready, waiting for me. She wanted to make me happy, to please me. It was her every desire that my heart was warm, and yet I was too much aware that as much as these were the words and actions I longed to hear, I knew I was the voice behind them, that they carried no weight. I was the engineer, the scientist behind her being. One day, long ago now, I had seen a boxer in a ring who fought another and didn't even catch a scratch, and my eyes were from the very first sight attracted to her. Her beauty was obvious. She had no place in that ring. I feared every punch that came near her face. I couldn't imagine an imperfection upon it. I watched her as she walked around the ring, but her eyes were on another. I knew there was no chance for a man as me, whose imperfections were obvious. She was the perfect model of beauty from head to toe. Her slim, slender body, her beautiful features, her soft, gentle skin, her face womanly, not thin and bony, the small smile carrying a smile, white, small teeth, her bright, shiny eyes. That unlike so many eyes I had gazed within, carried a soul deep within them, a spark of life that no word could describe. And so unlike any other man, I was able to react what I had fallen in love, recreate what I had fallen in love with. It seemed fitting that my position and access to such equipment allowed me to create this woman. Maybe it was fate, destiny, who can tell? Looking back on it now, maybe it was a mistake. I had taken genetic produce, DNA structures, and weaved like a bob on a wheel the design of a woman I saw behind my eyelids. Through trial and error, I finally realized the structure upon my computer screen. All the relevant data to enable her look to grow, just the way it was planned as I saw it. The relevant style of the person, the character, the trends, too, were a certain amount programmed in through the egg that I created. And through electronic means I brought life to that egg. And within the tank full of Mother Nature's fluids, it began to multiply and grow, until cell after predicted cell, the baby began to form, and slowly through, though not as slow as Mother Nature, 6 months, maybe just a little more, the 20-year-old creation was born. And the first day of life was started at 20. And electronically programmed into her whilst in the tank was all the life skills and studies a normal person would undertake at school. She was part machine, part genetic construction, although the electronic parts were only for means of speeding up God's design. And of course the electronic flow of information that formed the soul that had to be man-made like all the rest of her. She was an artificial life. The moment she broke from the fluid tank and slid across the floor towards me and wrapped her naked arms around me, I was struck with the awe that anyone in love might feel. I could see no downfall in what I had done, not even a thought that I might want to stop this moment, terminate the program. I moved her back so I could look into her eyes, and just like the boxer from which my mind created her, I could see that same sparkle. And whilst the boxer looked away from my gaze, this creature in front of me gazed deeply within my eyes with such fiery passion, and placed her wet lips upon mine, and many a night passed after that. I stood in a hot shower, while she lay in the bed, exhausted and tired, but every drop of water brought such feeling upon my body, that I was easily awoken from this tiredness, and would seek life once again. I was a man very much in love, who was consumed like a flame in the air, able to ever burn, never to be put out, Whilst I was in her arms, I felt time stop and everything around me was no longer there. I did not struggle for meaning of all that usually frustrated me. I was in the moment when, as far as I was aware, this planet was only inhabited, only catered for us. And so for many loving months, the passionate moments shared, the sweet whispering in the ears, the long nights lying next to each other's bodies, staring deeply, saying nothing into each other's eyes, as dark became light, were the best of my entire life. Even the smallest of chores, meeting with people I had no like of, they're sneaky and impolite, I just smiled and beamed even, and they were unable to even annoy me with their pointless, endless prattle. But slowly it happened. I started to see the imperfections. Like a rose flower as it began to wilt. A thorn here and there, a dead leaf, I started to feel her words over and over again, repetitive. Why am I not sure, but one day it just clicked to me. The very fact that she was saying was not out of her own intention, as much as if I was to argue with her, she might say, yes, I want this. I'm saying this is my choice, but it was no more her choice than a toaster has the choice to toast bread. And the handle is depressed. I had created her with this love for me. When she was no more than a genetic fluid in my hand, I had created something that could never truly satisfy me, whilst I knew that I had made it her this way. I had doomed her to a life like a computer program, a TV repeat going on and on, once made, always the same. And as much as she had a mind for herself, and if she put her mind to it, it would be possible for her to remove me from her life. She could hate me, despise me. She was as much human as I, but it would take a great deal of struggle from her to override the initial program I had placed within her. She came with her arms towards me, much like the day she was born, but I slowly had no time for her, trying to find ways to avoid her. But when she embraced me, she knew that I was not showing the normal amount of love that she had come to know. She knew something was wrong, and tried even harder to please me, to try and make me happy, and this further annoyed me, as what was I holding in my arms?